So guys, I asked for questions on my Instagram page. If you want to participate in the next Q&A, be sure to follow my Instagram and maybe ask me a question, something that you've always been wondering. Maybe I haven't seen your comments, go check that out. Today I'm going to answer some questions I get quite a lot. There's no point just answering every random question. If I see a question asked, multiple times, or maybe a question you guys might find interesting or something that you can learn from, then hopefully I'll answer those questions in today's video. So we're going to start it off with one which I get a lot, which is what are the top 3 prop firms for 2023? I'd have to say definitely in the top 3, you've got to have FTMO. FTMO is, I'd say, the biggest prop firm out there. It's got the best reputation, and I just don't really think you can beat FTMO. It does have its downsides, and that is true. You do have minimum 10 days trading for each stage, so you've got to trade for 10 days on each stage. Also, you've got to make 10% and 5%. A lot of firms nowadays only require 8% and 4%, or even just a one stage of 10%. So they obviously have a higher profit target. They have higher requirements. You've got to trade for 20 days before you can even get onto the funded stage, where a lot of companies now you can pass both stages within a day. I've done it before. I passed, I can't remember what it was. One of the firms, I passed both stages in a single day and then got onto the funded account and made profit within one day, which is obviously pretty crazy. But with FTMO, you won't get that. So I'm still going to put FTMO in the top 3. Not sure if it's first or second, but it's definitely up there. We're also going to have to go with true Forex funds. I'd say they probably have the quickest payouts out of any prop firm. They have an 8% and 4%, the 2-phase challenge, and it's relatively easy. And I'd say true Forex funds do have the best spreads out of any prop firm. I've used a lot of prop firms, probably 5 to 10 different prop firms. And I would say that true Forex funds does have the tightest spreads. It's literally tiny, even tighter than FTMO, which is quite good. So they have the quick payouts, tight spreads, relatively easy challenge, 8%, that's quite easy to do. I don't really think there are any cons to true Forex funds. Obviously not as well established as a company like FTMO, but you're not really going to get that when they're relatively new, in comparison. But I haven't had any issues. I got a payout within 24 hours, which is amazing. And yeah, not really anything bad I can say about true Forex funds. Also in the top 3, we have to have my Forex funds. Pros of my Forex funds: firstly, 8% and 5%. If it's 8%, then it's quite good, compared to 10%. It's a lot easier for you guys to pass. You only have minimum 5 days of trading, I'm pretty sure, for each phase of the challenge. Downside is you do have to wait 30 days for your first payout. You have to wait a month, and then I think it goes down after that first month. Whereas if you get companies now will pay you out the full amount in 7 days, or they'll pay you every 14 days, so bi-weekly. But with Forex funds, the first payout is 30 days. So just be mindful of that if you are going to, consider using them. So those are the top 3. I'd have to say FTMO top, true Forex funds second, and my Forex funds is in 3rd place. If you guys want me to try out any different prop firms, then leave them in the comments down below, and I will consider doing a review on these prop firms. But just so you know, if I ever do a review of a prop firm or any Forex company, that I'm not being paid to talk about them. I see a lot of traders out there, they're like, oh, there's this new prop firm, it's really, really good. You guys can go check it out with my link in the description. Yes, but you're getting paid to make that video. I'm not getting paid to mention these prop firms. I just think they're good prop firms, so I'm recommending them to you guys to use. So yeah, we've had a lot of different payouts from prop firms, and I'd have to say those are the top 3 for me personally. Next question: have you had profitability for 2 months and then ended up having a bad month? I guess what you're saying is, have you had 2 good months and then a bad month, and is that normal? So obviously that is very, very normal. If you look at any real trader, they'll tell you you're going to have losing weeks, you're going to have losing months, you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. People that expect to win all the time will never make it in trading, because what they do is they get really confident, they start winning, they think they can beat the markets, and then they just end up losing. It's as simple as that. And often those losses will be bigger than their wins because they start risking more, they get more confident, so then they'll just start losing more and go on a losing streak, and then a downward spiral to the account being blown. It's obviously not what we want, but that's what happens with a lot of traders. But the thing is, with trading, I reckon I could have 6 months of the year being profitable months and then 6 months being negative months, and I'd still be up overall, for the year. And this is what you guys should aim for. You're one or two, I wouldn't even say one or two, you have a few good winning months in a year, and that covers any bad months or break-even months, because your wins are obviously should be a lot bigger. If you're winning 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5 on each trade, and you have good risk management, you have good trade management, you have good account management, and you're pushing for like 50% profit each month, then these winning months should cover any losing months. Myself personally, on a really bad month, I'd probably lose 4%. If I lost every single trade in a month, I'd lose 4%. I only take like 1 trade a week, pretty much. I think it's like 1 or 2 trades a week, most likely 1. So I took 1 trade today, it made 3%. So go check that out on my FX book. It made 3%, very, very nice. If I can lose 4% in a month, then if I have a really, really good month and I've taken 4 trades, let's say, and they've all won, then I've made 12%. So that 1 winning month covers 4 losing months worth of results. So if the risk reward's there, then you shouldn't worry about having bad months. Obviously, if you had like 11 bad months and 1 winning month, then you're probably not going to be profitable unless you have like crazy risk to reward of like a 1 to 200, which is not consistent, as you can see from the results anyway. But yeah, don't worry about bad months. As long as your winning months eat up any bad months, that's all you have to worry about. Are you planning on opening the signals group again in the future? I'd probably say this is the question I get most in my DMs. I'll be there scrolling through Instagram, looking at my DMs, and it'll just be signal room, signal link. When are the signals? When are you opening the signals again? When's the Telegram group opening? It's just non-stop. I was considering it because I remember getting all the positive reviews. I think we had like the first 2 months of when I actually had the Telegram group, we had like 20% with no losses, which is quite crazy. I remember that. I had my biggest months when I was actually trading in the signals. My trading style has changed a lot. So oftentimes with signals, and if you speak to any other traders that have had these like Telegram groups or groups where they share the trades they're taking, they'll probably say the same as this. Back then I was entering 3-4 trades per week, and people love it. They're getting signals or trade ideas. I won't really think it's like kind of like trade ideas every single day or every couple of days, and they're constantly trading. People love this. People love being in trades. Whereas when I switched my trading style to then entering 1 or 2, 2 to 3 trades a month, even though they're winning and you're making profit over the month, people either, let's say they miss 1 trade and that's your only trade for the month, then they'll be like, oh, he's a bad trader, they try and expose you for everything. And it's like, do I really want to spend my time worrying about getting exposed for sending 2 trades a month or something in a group? Not really. It's not really something I'd want to do. Obviously you can make crazy money from it, but if a lot of people comment saying that they want to see my couple trades a month in a group, then maybe. But you get a lot of people in there very, very toxic, trying to obviously flip their accounts or get rich quick. They think you're going to send signals every single day, and that's obviously just not the reality of trading. So maybe if you guys want it, comment down below and I'll definitely consider it. But obviously with my limited trades per month, I only make 3 to 5% per month. A lot of people don't want that. They pay thinking they'll make a certain percentage. And the things that you can never guarantee profit. So you can't say to someone, you join, you get guaranteed 15% profit. It doesn't work like that. You can never guarantee profit. You could have a group that has losing for 3 months. Someone that says you're a scammer, the next month covers 5 months of losses, but then you're not a scammer because if you stay for all 4 months, then you're winning. It is a lot. It is obviously dependent on when people join the group, the trades you're taking, the market conditions. So yeah, maybe I'll open it again. If this video gets enough comments about it, then I will. But yeah, definitely watch this space for more stuff coming soon. Next question, how can I hold my position longer as I close out before hitting the take profit? People do this a lot. I was guilty of doing this, back in the day. I'd probably even say early last year, I was closing my trades like a few pips before the take profit. Because if you're putting your take profit in like a reactive sort of area, then price is going to, come around this area. It might reject offs before hitting your take profit. Obviously depends where you target, but this can happen. You've just got to think of it, the bigger picture. If you do that one time, it's not really going to matter that much. Obviously you're going to lose out on a bit of profit, but it's not really going to be the end of the world. Whereas let's say you're closing out 5 pips early every single time. For myself personally, that would be 0.5% profit. If I do that 10 times, I'm losing 5%. then I'll do the maths. Okay, if I got a $200,000 funded account or a normal account, 5% is 10 grand. So if I do that over 10 trades, I'm losing $10,000 for not holding, those extra 5 pips to the take profit. A lot of people will do it once, they'll close out early, and then price will go to their take profit, or that's obviously a good thing, because then they're like, oh, it went to my take profit, I should have just held. That's obviously good. But the worst thing to happen is it then reverses to their stop loss. Then they'll be like, oh, I knew I should have closed early. So the next time they're like, okay, so last time I closed early before my take profit and it actually reversed. Then they think it's okay to do this, and then they do it again, and then it hits take profit. You end up just losing more overall. The way I see it is your take profit's there for a reason. You set it because you thought price was gonna reach this level. So why close before it's actually reached that level? That's the bit that doesn't make sense to me. So make sure your take profit's in an area where you've analyzed and you know from your back testing that price can go to this level from this exact setup, and then you'll kind of be more confident in your trades too. Moving on, what was it like making your first 6 figures? So I remember when the day I actually hit my first 6 figures, I was obviously really excited because, seeing 6 figures, obviously I had 6 figures before, but like in one account, having 6 figures was like crazy, because you see a turn from 5 figures to obviously 6 figures, and you get the little comma for the 100,000. But it doesn't really matter because it's just a number on a screen. Your life doesn't really change as soon as you hit 6 figures or as soon as you hit $1 million. Your life's not going to change. Your life will change when you start making money consistently. I'd probably say £10,000 per month is kind of the income level where your life can change. You can kind of afford to do pretty much anything you want to. You're making 120k a year. You can pretty much do whatever. I don't even know if what's that, like top 10% of earners or something making 120k a year. And you can kind of do anything. If you want to buy a new phone, you can just buy a new phone. If you want to buy a nice setup, nice camera, everything, you can do that. If you want to go on holiday, you can do that because you've got the money to do so. Whereas if you're making 3k a month, you won't be able to do this. But 10k a month is kind of the point where your life sort of changes and you don't really have to worry about money as much. When you're moving into like 50, 60, 70, 80k, 100k a month, that's when it's like, well, you're doing the exact same thing as before, but you've got so much money extra. It can also be tempting to obviously spend more. The way I've been doing it is, if I want to spend, I'll buy like a watch. Obviously it's like an investment, so I'm buying something nice, but it's also going to keep its value. Whereas if I just spent that money on, a t-shirt that's like £500 or like £1,000, I won't be able to sell it for £500 or £1,000. Whereas a watch, I can sell it for more or even the same after a year of use. And then you use it for social media as well. A lot of people just buy watches to promote and flex, but to be honest, they've got the watch, they're wearing it for a year, flexing it to build up their following or to sell something, and then they can sell it for the same amount in a year's time or even more. So it's a no-brainer really. But making your first 6 figures, people try and aim for it. Obviously it's a good milestone, but it's not really something that once you've reached it, you're gonna be like, oh, the work is done now. The hard work is paid off. It doesn't really work like that. So moving on to the last question now, how much was your first prop firm payout? So if you guys have been following the channel for a while and you've kind of seen the whole journey from the first prop firm, the first small accounts to now, then you'll know that I actually traded with Funding Talent, a company that's no longer around now, but that was the company where I got my first payout. It wasn't really a great situation because they ended up kind of scamming. So I passed phase 1, 100% win rate. I passed phase 2, might have been 100% win rate too, or I might have lost one trade maybe. And then I traded the prop firm account, the actual funded account, and I made around 1.2, 1.3k profit. And I was meant to get around £1,000 or $1,000. And then they suddenly came out and said, we're closing down, we can't deal with all the sign-ups and everything, it's too much to manage. Then they said they're going to be paying out 25% of the profits. So instead of getting 1,000, I ended up getting $250 or $300, I'm pretty sure, which wasn't ideal. Just made my first 1,000 from a prop firm, and then they're only paying out 300 or 250. I was obviously very annoyed, but there's nothing you can really do with these prop firms. They can just close down at any time. That's why I always emphasize investing in different businesses, because once that prop firm's gone, you then have nothing to trade. If I didn't have other accounts or other money invested elsewhere, then I would have been stuck with zero. It's as simple as that. So make sure you invest elsewhere and not just all in one prop firm account as your only trading account. It's just not ideal. So be sure to follow my Instagram to ask a question in the next Q&A, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.